Why don't we talk about red flags?
Ah, that's good.
Okay, I think every Western man absolutely needs to know when he comes over here and he's going and he meets his girl face to face, how does he know she's really into him? Versus red flags that she's not into him or she has a hidden agenda, wrong motives, bad motives.
Boy.
What would you say? What's the biggest red flag for you
that
you've encountered over 10 years?
I tell you, my experience has been one of the very first red flags that I watch for is their attitude and body language towards me.
When, on the first meeting?
First meeting. Do they act like they're really interested? Do they act bored? Do they enter into the conversation?
Do they ask you questions?
Do they ask questions?
About you?
Yes.
Want to know about you?
If all they're doing is answering your questions, if they're looking distracted, not showing that they're a real genuine interest by asking questions, you know that they're not into you.
Yeah, exactly.
Either they're not into you, or they're not there of their own free will.
Volition.
They're being paid to be there.
Because as we uncovered this letter writing scam, if you're in your situation, well, you're writing to this picture, and then it turns out that it's Igor or whatever. When you finally say, "Oh, I'm coming to the Ukraine to meet this picture," they say, "Oh." So they call the picture, the girl in the picture, and say, "Hey, Art's coming to meet you," and she goes, "Well, I don't know this man. Send me a photo." And they said, "Oh, I don't like him. I don't want to meet with him." Then they say, "Okay, we'll pay you $25, $50, $100. So she could be there because she's being paid.
Absolutely. I believe that with all my heart.
So I'll piggyback on your tip by saying, guys, don't think so much with your head. Really tap into your heart. Feel what you feel. Do you feel if she's into you? Right? That's the first tip, I think.
Yeah.
And red flag. Okay, I'll throw one in. Red flag for me was if they're picking the most expensive restaurant in town.
Yeah. Oh, God. That's common.
Yeah. Because in my experience, the good girls, the ones that are serious, they're actually quite conservative and respectful about money. And they know money's tight and it is for them, and they don't assume you're rich. And so they'll suggest a modest restaurant.
I agree. I have a story about that one that just illustrates it nicely.
Sure.
I met this not too long ago, I met a nice young lady, hired an interpreter to come with us. We spent an hour just getting acquainted, and then she had to leave, I had to leave. So she was heading home, and actually we just went to a coffee shop and had tea. And I asked, "Do you want to eat anything?" No, just tea. And so we had tea. On the way home, I said, "Okay, I'd like to pay a taxi for you to go take you home." And she said, "Oh no, I'll take the bus. I'm not going to take any money from you." I don't mind telling you that was a real refreshing.
That's a good sign.
It's a good sign.
That's she's got good intentions, honorable intentions. Another one for me is if on the first date or even the second date, she wants to go shopping. I asked her, "What do you want to do tonight?" She said, "Oh, karaoke. I love to sing." "Oh, I don't have good shoes for karaoke." And then we go shopping, I buy her shoes. And then she says, "I'm in pants. I really should have a skirt." And at that point I said, no.
It's going the wrong way.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, and I've asked a lot of ladies, a good lady doesn't ask for gifts, go shopping right away. So that's definitely a red flag.
Right. I was just trying to think of some other real clear red flags. One that I've had experience with was a red flag that the actual lady that I was conversing with showed up. And she absolutely had no dialogue with me. For 3 hours, I talked to the interpreter. And she never said a word the whole time. It was just like she was mute. Probably. At the end of the 3 hours, I was paying the interpreter, and I told her, "What's going on here? This woman never probably said 100 words in 3 hours." Well, she's just shy. After all this time of us getting acquainted, and I come all the way here to meet her, and you're telling me she's shy? I said, I don't think she's the one been writing letters to me. Oh no, she's just shy. Okay.
That's a double red flag.
Well, that was it.
Shy and a red flag that it's not the girl that you've been corresponding to.
I guarantee you. Yeah. And then on the heels of that, the next day, this particular agency, of course, called me and said, well, she was just really shy, but we have other girls that we can introduce you to that.
Ka-ching, ka-ching.
Yeah. So
get some more money out
I
of
just
Art.
told them, I think not. Thank you very much.
And I'll chime into that and say it's an area of scams where the interpreter, and this is a red flag, when the interpreter, like you say, is talking with the lady a lot and more than you, and if you read the body language, I've been told by interpreters that sometimes they're in cahoots. So they want to keep the meter running, and because it's $20 an hour, which is big money in the Ukraine, that you're paying for the interpreter, and the lady, the girl, gets a cut of that.
She gets a commission.
She can be saying things about you behind your back kind of thing. Like, I don't like this guy. He's, for example, I've been told by interpreters, a common one is, this man is old and what is he thinking that he wants to be with me?
Right.
He's a dirty old man kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've had interpreters tell me that. So they can be talking about you behind your back in cahoots.
In Russian, and you can't.
In Russian,
you'd have no idea what's going on.
But 70% of communication is body language. So if you watch the body language, you can look for a red flag.
Very easily. In a meeting, that's the first thing I look for. First things I look for.
Yeah.
Because if they're really truly interested in you, like anywhere else, they're going to be looking at you.
Yeah.
They're going to be listening to you.
Yeah.
They're going to be asking questions.
Inquisitive.
They're going to be inquisitive about you. And maybe you said, well, tell me more about your work. Or tell me about your children. Or they're going to just have basic questions. They're going to, like you would with anyone. Exactly. And if they don't do that, you've struck out.
Do you think it's okay to be direct with them in the meetings? Are the Ukrainian ladies open to being direct and openly asking direct questions in the meeting? What do you think?
Now we're now talking about serious women.
We're
not talking about the rest of them. We're talking about women.
The serious basket that's 10%, not the 90% bad
exactly.
basket.
The 90%
bad basket, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the 10% with good, wholesome intentions, looking for love and marriage.
Absolutely 100%.
Want to be direct.
Be direct. These women are direct.
Cut to the chase.
They will answer you directly.
And they will ask you.
And they will, once it starts, get ready, because they'll be hitting you with everything from religion to politics to on and on. Now, there's some things you don't want to, culturally don't want to approach, just like most women. Leave the sex talk out. Don't even go there.
Distasteful. It's private and it's too soon.
It's distasteful to them. They'll immediately peg you.
And they don't like rude men.
They don't. Don't immediately start asking what their preferences are and all that stuff, because they will immediately peg you as a pervert, and that's the end of it.
I can't even believe some Western men do that. But
Amazing.
Apparently they do.
I've heard the stories from many people.
Very distasteful.
So, but don't be afraid to ask relationship questions.
Yes.
They want to know too. They really do. They want to know, is this man going to be a future potential mate for me, or is he just playing around? And I want to, so you get serious with them, ask them hard questions. Ask them how they feel about leaving Ukraine. Ask them, what are they looking for in a man? What's important to you? And let them answer, and then they'll ask you a question. And
I think that's a great tip you just gave. Yeah. Ask about them. Make the conversation about them.
Absolutely. Because she will ask about you too, if she's interested. But
that's a great way to open up the conversation, by talking about them.
And I'll tell you how she responds to my experience, what she sees or hears. She doesn't hear the question. She doesn't see what you're really asking. What she sees, you're serious. She hears, he's serious.
In the body language.
Well, the question, he's just asking personal questions, relationship questions. She's thinking, he's serious about me. Because if you just asking her what color of clothes she likes, or what kind of flowers she likes, or that kind of stuff. It's like boring.
Yeah.
And she's going to go, oh, I'm not so sure this guy's right. You start asking those other questions. But they expect you to show up with something in your hand.
Yeah. Even if it's just
buy some roses.
3 chop, roses.
White roses. Don't buy red roses right off the bat. That's too intimate.
That's interesting because I always buy red roses.
But if you have a relationship with them, buy red roses. If you
3 red roses is I buying it.
And that's they will not say a word. They'll be happy as they can be. But appropriate would be white roses.
Hey, it's Joe here. How are you doing? Listen, I wanted to talk to you openly and personally for a moment here. Maybe you're like I was, divorced 2 times and just really distraught and given up on ever finding your other half, a soulmate, your best friend, somebody that's amazing, smart, sexy, talented, educated woman that will rock your world in more ways than you can imagine. I've found that, and I wish you to find that. I fervently believe the best women, the best wives are in the Ukraine here. I wish you all the best in your personal journey to find and marry the most incredible, amazing Ukrainian wife you could possibly imagine.